everyone has a go-to person. Goldberg Heinz does, and I'm very pleased to have Mike Magliano with us today so that you can get to know him as well. He's our go-to guy for anything and everything pertaining to real estate in our area. And I'm going to ask Mike to start with by saying, what's new now that the virus or the pandemic is moving in our rearview mirror out of sight? What's happening, Mike?
Paul, first off, thank you for allowing me to be on your show. It's really exciting, and I've been following you guys for the last handful of podcasts and really enjoy them. But so my focus is on industrial real estate. I've been an industrial real estate broker for the last 17 years in the greater Chicagoland area, and we've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. We'll call it. You have the good, obviously, in the last handful of years in a robust market. You have the bad and the ugly in 2008, 9, and 10. So you kind of look at what happened in 2009 and 2010, and immediately at the beginning of COVID, people thought that that was going to happen. But it was actually the opposite. There was a slowdown in the first, we'll call it 4 or 5 weeks of COVID. But then after that, everything ramped up, and it's pretty much been business as usual. We've been the most active asset class out of industrial, retail, office. Multifamily has picked up nicely, but industrial used to be the one that everyone kind of looks at and saying, oh, it could be dirty, it could be not, something you want to own long term. And there's a lot of investors, a lot of money flocking to buying land, building buildings, doing sale leasebacks, trying to get some capital and own some properties. So from a perspective here is that we had the highest. The best way to describe it, we had the most square footage leased last year in 2020. It's a record over the last 30 years.
Wow.
We leased to overall Chicago over 40 million square feet.
Oh my.
And so that was up over 13% from 2019 to 2020. So, the virus really didn't impact in a negative way most businesses. Obviously, there was everyone had to go through some sort of adaptation of protecting employees as well as figuring out their way of doing business and trying to figure out what made sense and what didn't. But for the most part, vacancy over the last 10-year period has gone from 11.4% down to we're hovering right around 5.5%, and that's a historical low. So we have 1.7 billion square feet in Chicago, and only 5.5 our early indicators show that vacancy is going to come down in the first quarter to right around 5%. So it's a struggle out there. Rates are high, values are high. It's a seller market. It's a landlord market. And what's causing that is, we've had activity outpace construction over the last handful of years. And, no matter how much the construction machine keeps going, it just seems like these bigger boxes, the Amazons, the Walmarts, the e-commerce, the logistics, some of the larger manufacturing companies keep up and keep pace with it. So it's been an interesting time right now. And we call right now March Madness. And obviously not just because of the basketball. The basketball's been fun. NCAA tournament's been fun. It's some pretty good games yesterday. But we are tracking the market and looking at our listings. Anything for sale, I would say we have 6 listings on the market for sale right now. All 6 of them have multiple offers or have had multiple offers when we agreed to terms. So if someone's looking to get into the market and obviously expand or try to recalibrate their business, you definitely need to know a few different things about your business before you can actually do that, because preparation is key. Understanding your move costs, understanding your efficiency and how to move, even looking at your 4 walls and trying to figure out if you could stay with some partners like IMAC and some other groups that could help you look at your efficiencies within the 4 walls. Understanding your employees, because skilled labor is number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If everyone's trying to become more productive on what they have because they can't find it. So
Is this, Mike? Is this a balloon? Can this burst? Where would the influence be to change this trend and create a great deal of vacancies? Where are the main influences?
Well, so the main headwinds right now is what we're hearing, right, from all different, kind of sides of industrial manufacturing distribution. Obviously, inflation is a big concern right now. You see gas trending over $3 a square foot. You see lumber at, I believe it's like 2x4s are about 4 times higher. Steel went up by about 40% over the last 3 weeks to a month. So those are a couple of the headwinds, but one of the major ones is supply chain. And I think that plays a really good part for the United States moving forward. We just talked about the Suez Canal having that ship blocking, I think it was for over a
Yes,
week.
yes,
So as you start looking at supply chain vulnerabilities that we've seen over the last year with COVID, trying to get product in and out of China, trying to get product from all parts of the world, we're seeing the trend of automation and reshoring here in the United States. So I think those are kind of your major trends, their major headwinds. You had Margaret Griffin from Summercore last time, and we just talked. I just talked to her last week, and interest rates are still historically low, but obviously what happens if interest rates go up 3, 4,
that's
5%,
right.
including with cost of goods and everything else like that. So those are your major headwinds. But again, we're a good 2 years of below average market to get back to a historical average of like 8.5% vacancy. So we're not going to see anything change here unless it's something that's a drastic and something like a 2019 or sorry 2009. But we still have confidence, in the activity we're seeing in the market right now is really strong, and vacancy is still trending down.
What is very, very clear is that most of our audience listeners are either business owners or professionals that serve business owners. And I think what you've just said is building a case for planning. If Mr. Business Owner is saying, I want to grow more profitable sales, I'm going to either have to move into another building, add on to my building, or merge with someone or acquire a separate facility. And conversely, going to sell a business in a market that is robust versus in the tank is going to have an obvious financial effect on the overall outcome. You're building a case for planning. And if you can add anything more to the planning and what you do with owners of businesses going either direction, growing or selling, what are some of the things that you do to help people plan for the future and deal with trends?
I call it my process and my marketing brochure that I put together, and obviously you'll send that to you so your users can take a look at it. But I mentioned the whole planning, be prepared, but it goes not only from your physical footprint, but it actually goes within your business, because obviously there are so many different factors that are hitting your business. And I learned over a decade ago that different companies have different pain points that either put them going in the right or the wrong direction. And my whole goal is to be a valued resource to help you solve those pain points within my network. So I would say, you definitely need to understand where your growth is and try to align that with a real estate plan. And we help companies, whether they're in local market company all the way up to national companies, kind of align their business goals as well as their real estate goals. Because again, the ones that have a prepared plan, nothing's foolproof, but they're the ones that take advantage of certain markets at
That's right.
certain times.
That's right. That's right.
And long term, obviously are able to save significant amount of overhead costs. But understanding what you have, understanding your business, understanding potentially, like I said, the headwinds, in trying to just figure out what markets you're in and what are the hot markets that we see kind of moving forward.
How can our listeners get in touch with you to get to know you better and to get more information about what you can do for them?
Sure. Yeah. I'm on social media, LinkedIn, Michael Magliano, Magliano. On Twitter. My email is my first name, Michael, Michael, period, Magliano, Magliano, at Cush, Cush, Wake, Wake.com. My cell phone's always on, 847-529-7529. So I don't know if I should give that out in public, but give me a call if anyone ever wants to talk. I'm open to having any type of conversation. And, I'm around. So, just let me know what anyone wants to talk about.
And Michael is with Cushman Wakefield in Rosemont, suburb of Chicago, in their Bryn Mawr Avenue office address, 9500 Bryn Mawr Avenue. You can see now why we think Mike Magliano is our go-to guy. We're awfully glad you were with us. Keep us informed. When you've got something to share with our listeners, come back to us and we'd gladly discuss it with you again. Enjoy your season of growth and prosperity, and thanks again for stopping by.